Hey guys, and welcome back. I hope you all had an awesome weekend. I apologize that I didn't get to get a video out yesterday. Just a busy day doing errands and headed over to my mom's, and by the time I thought about making a video of what we were doing for the day, it was like 7:30 at night. So figure we're back today though, and what we're doing is, if you guys know, I've been taking cuttings from a bunch of different plants in order to propagate them. You can take cuttings into water from such a huge variety of plants, from herbs to flowers to shrubs, all different kinds of things when you're doing them into water. You can do woody stems, you can do green stems. Greens and soft stems are definitely easier than woody stems, but you can do woody stems too. Either way, it's a really great and easy way to propagate plants, especially when you're trying to save annuals for over winter time or different things like that. But either way, when you're taking so many different cuttings, it can become very unorganized and difficult, whether you're cramming a ton of them into one glass and then it's hard to keep them organized, or you've got glasses all over the place, they start falling down into the water, which gives you leaf rot. And when you're propagating through water, the key is to really keep an eye on those plants, be checking them all throughout the day, seeing what they're doing. Timing is key. So in order to become a little bit more organized with taking our cuttings, I had a little idea that I'm going to go ahead and make some cutting trays to keep them organized, keep them up out of the water, and make everything a lot easier on ourselves. So I'm going to use the same concept in two different containers. You can do this with whatever containers you will think will work. The two that I'm using is one, I had a few of these Tupperware bins lying around. They're just those couple gallon, Sterilite, cheap containers you can get at, Dollar General or Walmart or something to that effect. I'm going to use this for my bigger leafed cuttings. And the cuttings with, bigger foliage on them, they need a little bit more space. And then for my smaller foliage cuttings like basil, which you've seen me doing, I am going to do something a little bit more frugal and use some old juice containers. I'm going to show you this one first. Really easy. The first thing that you're going to want to do is go ahead and just cut the bottom couple inches off of that container. Don't throw your top out though. You want to keep your top for certain kinds of plants. And just be careful, especially when you're working with kids, guys. Be safe if you're using scissors or knives or whatever you're using to cut the bottom off of this. And then just watch for those sharp edges. Try to get a nice clean cut. You can always wrap a little bit of duct tape around the top to save your fingertips from those sharp edges if you want to. And before you start, once you get the bottom off, or you can do it while it's still together, it's a little easier with the bottom off. Whatever container you're using, make sure that you clean it really, really well. Whenever you're doing cuttings, you want to make sure that everything, your scissors, everything that you're using is nice and sterile, because otherwise you could lose your whole project over something silly like a little drop of juice like in your container or something to that effect. Sorry, my son is on the floor underneath you. That's why I'm on the floor here sitting with him. He's talking to you guys. But so once you've cut the bottom off the container, the next thing that we're going to do is you can go ahead and using a thumbtack or whatever you have available, whatever you find the easiest, and about an inch down from the top, give yourself a good 1.5 to 2 inches below your holes. You're going to go ahead and you're going to poke a hole around the entire perimeter, about every 1/2 inch to 1 inch. You don't have to measure, just about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And just go ahead and poke a hole and widen it up a little bit. Alright, and then you can go ahead and take some thread or string or whatever it is that you have on hand to use, and go ahead and start weaving it back and forth through your holes, just like a tapestry. Once you're done weaving it, just go ahead and tie your string off and pull it nice and taut before you tie it off. And if you find that your holes are too big for what you want, you can always go ahead and run it back through and make some diagonals to make some smaller holes for yourself, depending on the size of the foliage that you're trying to make cuttings from. Okay, and then we added just a little bit of water to the bottom of it. Just pay attention to how long your cuttings are for how much water you're going to need in the bottom. And then I'm going to take my cuttings and go ahead and just start sticking them through there. And then what's nice about this too is because you're reusing the plastic, you're being a little bit frugal, you're getting organized, and then if you're taking cuttings over a period of time, if you're not necessarily filling this all the way right off the bat, you can always take a dry erase marker and say I put these in first, and I did these on July 1st, I can write the date right there, and then this row I did on July 7th, I can write the date right there. And then that'll keep you nice and organized, and then you can erase it after. And now our cuttings are much more organized. You can easily see for when your roots are starting up. Like I said, you can use the dry erase marker and be able to date and label. And then make sure to keep your top around depending on what kind of plants you're using, because some plants do like to have a greenhouse effect in order to root well to keep the foliage good. So then you can place your top right back on there, leaving the cap open so that it has a little bit of air ventilation, but it'll keep it nice and humid inside for the greenhouse effect. And for the one for our bigger foliage with our other Tupperware container, we'll do literally the exact same thing. I'll push this to the side. But you can do it nice and down low here. Leaves room for the big foliage in there, and then if you do need the greenhouse effect, you can go ahead and literally just take a piece of plastic wrap, stick it over the top, press some holes in it for fresh air, just poke some holes, and you can do the same exact thing for bigger foliage. But I think that that looks really nice, and you can go ahead and stay nice and organized, and it's a whole lot better than having a bunch of different cups that are all unorganized and hard to keep track of. So easy as that, guys. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you get the chance to do this for your cuttings and get a little bit more organized, and it'll make things easier on you. We will see you on the next one. God bless. I love you all, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.